Hey guys, I'm Dr. Jason Barker with the Natural Athletes Clinic, and if you've ever bonked, you know what a terrible situation this is. So I'm going to explain to you today why that happens and how you can prevent it from happening. So first, a little bit of basic sciences. We need a certain level of blood sugar to be upright and functioning and thinking and doing our thing. And when you don't get enough to eat, that blood sugar cannot stay sustained and it comes crashing down, and that's essentially what a bonk is, okay? So normally we have about 24 hours worth of stored sugar in our muscles and in our liver, known as glycogen. So this is why you can have had dinner just last night and you wake up today and you're fine and you can think and function, you're hungry, but you can do your thing. But after a while, you're going to chew through all that glycogen and you're going to start diving into your fat stores, and eventually you'll dive into your protein stores, right? Those are extreme cases of when you don't get enough to eat. But going back to our athlete here who is bonked out, this can happen from 3 different scenarios, okay? So the first one is maybe you didn't eat so well the week before your event. Maybe you didn't get enough calories in. Maybe you skipped breakfast the morning of the race. You decided you were late or you didn't feel like it, and you go out there and after about an hour, 90 minutes, the tank runs empty, right? You get fatigued, and I'm not just talking about you're a little tired, I want to lay down on the concrete fatigued. You get very anxious. You can become hot, sweaty, very thirsty, and of course, ravenously hungry, right? Those are all signs of hypoglycemia or low blood sugar, simply because that gas tank ran out. All right, now the second reason that this can happen is, of course, because people are skipping fueling on the course, right? Or skipping fueling while you're out on a ride. Because you're going along, you're at a good pace, you don't want to stop, adjust your pack, whatever. Skipping nutrition, if you do that for long enough during one of these events or one of these training sessions, is going to wind up causing you to bonk, right? So this is why we tell athletes out on courses and why aid stations are placed relatively closely together, every 15 minutes, every 20 minutes, something like that, is because you need to be consistently refueling your body with those carbohydrates to keep that blood sugar up so that you don't bonk. Now, there's a third scenario here that you see less often, but that's something called reactive hypoglycemia. And this is when somebody eats purely simple carbohydrates, they digest those carbs, their blood sugar shoots up. What does your body want to do? It wants to keep you in balance, right? So your pancreas releases the hormone insulin. Insulin pulls that sugar into the cells of the body and other organs to be metabolized. And at the same time as you're exercising, those working muscles are also pulling that sugar in to be utilized, to be burned for energy, right? So this is a very effective way of pulling your blood sugar down very rapidly. And if this has ever happened to you, you know what that's like. Those symptoms I described earlier is you are flat out exhausted. So how do you prevent reactive hypoglycemia from happening, or how do you prevent bonking from happening? First thing starts with your breakfast, is making sure that you're getting all the macronutrients in with that breakfast. So you want to get your complex carbs, a little bit of protein, and a little bit of fat. Why is that? Well, you're not going to be burning that protein and fat in the immediate time frame, not for several hours later. But what that protein and fat does is it slows the rise in sugar as you digest that meal. So rather than shooting that blood sugar up and having it come crashing down in reactive hypoglycemia, that fat and that protein is going to blunt that rise in sugar so that your body doesn't overreact and produce too much insulin and yank it back down. So make sure you're getting some complex carbs. A little bit of simple carb is okay. Some fat and protein in that morning meal. I like to do a smoothie. It's easy to digest. I put some fruit, some leafy greens in there for the carbs, some nut butter for the protein and fat, and along with some protein powder for extra protein. And that sits well in my gut. That provides good energy for me. I suggest this to a lot of athletes in the clinic, and it seems to work well for a lot of people. But of course, personal preference, you need to experiment with what works for you. So make sure you're eating a good breakfast with all the macronutrients in it, and do not skip out on those aid stations. Those are your lifeline to keeping that blood sugar up so that you do not bonk. Okay, so I hope this helps you guys out. Please share this video with your buddies that bonk all the time when you're out training with them or racing. And of course, give us a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.